Are you okay? I'm fine. You know that isn't true. They know it isn't true. And somehow both of you accept the answer and continue with your day. Strange, isn't it? We usually imagine lying as something calculated, a fake alibi, a hidden affair, a politician standing beside a suspiciously expensive yacht. The common explanation is simple. People lie to hide the truth, manipulate others, or get something they want. But that is not quite right. Most lies aren't carefully planned attempts to fool the world. They are tiny emergency edits, little changes we make when reality threatens the person we want others to see. And the most unsettling part isn't that people lie. It's that the brain can make each new lie easier than the one before it. Consider the lies people tell every day. I'm 5 minutes away. I never saw your message. That's exactly what I was about to do. No, I'm not upset. Of course I remember you. I've read the terms and conditions. You probably don't think of these as serious lies. That is exactly the point. In the 1990s, psychologist Bella DePaulo and her colleagues asked people to record their social interactions and lies for an entire week. College students reported roughly 2 lies per day. Adults from the wider community reported about 1. Most of these weren't elaborate criminal deceptions. They were ordinary social lies. People exaggerated their achievements, pretended to like something, hid an embarrassing feeling, agreed with an opinion they didn't share, or changed a detail to appear more capable, interesting, or kind. The researchers found that people told more lies for their own benefit than for someone else's. But the benefit was often psychological, not financial. They weren't stealing millions. They were collecting approval, attention, affection, respect. The lie wasn't designed to change the entire world. It was designed to change one person's view of them. Imagine someone asks why you missed a deadline. The truthful answer might be, I kept avoiding it because I felt overwhelmed. But that truth exposes something uncomfortable. Maybe you're unreliable. Maybe you're struggling. Maybe you're not as organized as you want people to believe. Your brain detects a threat to your reputation and immediately opens its emergency editing department. We had technical problems. Much better. Same missed deadline. Less damage to the identity. This is one of the biggest reasons people lie. Not merely to hide what happened, but to protect who they think they are. The honest person, the competent employee, the loyal friend, the perfect partner, the person who definitely understood the joke. Human beings don't walk around showing everyone an unedited version of themselves. We select what to reveal. We change our tone depending on who is listening. We hide some feelings and highlight others. Most of that isn't lying. It's normal social behavior. But when the gap between reality and the image becomes too uncomfortable, the brain is tempted to fill it with fiction. Reality says, I forgot. Identity says, I'm responsible. The lie builds a bridge between them. And for a social animal, reputation has always mattered. Our ancestors depended on other people for food, protection, information, and belonging. Someone believed to be selfish, weak, or untrustworthy could lose support. So the human mind became extremely sensitive to how other people see us. Sometimes that sensitivity encourages good behavior. Sometimes it encourages us to hide bad behavior. The brain whispers, why repair the mistake when we could repair the story? But people don't only lie to protect themselves. Sometimes we lie to protect other people. Dinner was delicious. You haven't aged at all. That haircut is certainly memorable. These lies attempt to reduce pain or avoid conflict. You may dislike the truth, not because it threatens you, but because you can already imagine the expression on the other person's face. So you soften it, then soften it again, and eventually the truth has disappeared beneath several comfortable cushions. This creates a strange moral problem. If honesty can hurt someone and dishonesty can comfort them, which one is kinder? There is no universal answer. Not all lies carry the same weight. Pretending to enjoy a birthday gift is not the same as hiding a betrayal. Protecting a surprise is not the same as manipulating someone's choices. The important question isn't simply, was that statement false? It is, Who gained control because the truth was removed? A harmless social lie may protect someone's feelings for a moment. A manipulative lie removes information another person needed to make a real decision. That difference matters. But if humans lie this often, why do we keep believing one another? Shouldn't we have evolved into suspicious little detectives, analyzing every blink and nervous hand movement? Actually, no, because communication would become impossible. Imagine checking every sentence anyone says. Good morning. Can you prove it is good? I'm going to the shop. Do you have witnesses? I love you. Please submit supporting documentation. Psychologist Timothy Levine calls our normal state the truth default. Most of the time, we process what people say without actively asking whether every word is a lie. In experiments, people rarely considered whether someone was being deceptive unless they were specifically prompted to think about it. That may sound like a weakness, but it is also what makes conversation possible. Trust is efficient. If most everyday communication is honest, constantly investigating everyone would waste enormous amounts of mental energy and destroy cooperation. So your brain normally believes first and becomes suspicious when something triggers doubt. That is why good liars don't need to defeat a perfect human lie detector. There isn't one. They only need to avoid giving you a strong reason to stop believing. And no, avoiding eye contact doesn't automatically expose them. Neither does fidgeting, touching the face, or looking nervous. Truthful people become nervous when accused. Liars can maintain eye contact. Someone may look away because they are anxious, distracted, shy, or trying to remember something. There is no single magical body language signal that reveals every lie. In fact, believing that liars always look guilty can make confident deception more convincing. Your brain sees a calm face and thinks, no suspicious eyebrow movement detected. Truth confirmed. But here is where lying becomes more dangerous. The first lie can feel uncomfortable. Your body may produce tension because your behavior conflicts with your self-image. I am an honest person. I just lied. Those two thoughts do not fit together very well, but the brain is extraordinarily good at adapting. In a study led by Neil Garrett and Tali Sharot, participants repeatedly had opportunities to give dishonest advice for personal benefit while researchers monitored their brain activity. The dishonesty gradually increased. At the same time, the response in the amygdala, a region involved in emotional processing, became smaller with repeated self-serving lies. Even more strikingly, that reduced response helped predict whether the next lie would become larger. The researchers described it as a biological slippery slope. The first lie creates friction, the next creates slightly less. Eventually, the behavior that once felt wrong begins to feel normal. Your brain does not announce, "Congratulations, we have become a villain." It says, "This is different." Then, "This is complicated." Then, technically nobody asked the exact right question. Small lies often require supporting lies. You claim you are already traveling, so now you need traffic. You invent traffic, so now you need a closed road. You invent the closed road, and suddenly you're emotionally invested in a fictional accident involving 3 buses and a confused goat. The lie grows because the truth would no longer expose only the original mistake. It would expose every decision made afterward, and each layer raises the cost of honesty. This is why some people continue lying even when the original lie appears pointless. They may no longer be protecting the first secret. They are protecting themselves from the consequences of admitting that they lied at all. But the deepest layer is even more uncomfortable. Sometimes we lie to ourselves first. We say we had no choice. We say everyone does it. We say the other person couldn't handle the truth. We say we were only trying to help. And sometimes those explanations are partly true. The most convincing lies often contain enough truth to protect us from examining the rest. So here is the identity-level question. Are you honest because honesty is one of your values, or are you honest only when the truth allows you to remain the person you want to believe you are? Because integrity is easy when the truth makes you look good. The real test arrives when honesty costs you status, comfort, or approval, when the truthful sentence is, I was jealous. I wanted the credit. I made a mistake. I didn't do what I promised. I'm not fine. That is when the emergency editing department opens. The pink brain puts on a tie, picks up a red pen, and says, don't worry, we can make this sound much better. But every lie creates distance. Distance between what happened and what others believe. Distance between the person people trust and the person you know yourself to be. DePaulo's diary studies found that interactions involving lies were experienced as less pleasant and less intimate than truthful ones. Even when nobody discovers the lie, something changes. You know the connection is now attached to an edited version of you. So why do people lie? For money, sometimes. For power, certainly. But much more often, people lie because the truth threatens something emotionally valuable. Their reputation, their relationship, their comfort, their control, or their identity. A lie is often less like a weapon and more like a shield, but shields can become walls. The next time someone lies to you, this doesn't mean you should excuse the harm. Understanding a behavior is not the same as accepting it. But instead of asking only, what are they hiding? Ask, what would the truth force them to face? And the next time you feel a lie forming in your own mouth, pause before your brain edits reality. Ask what the lie is trying to protect, because the answer may reveal more than the truth you were about to hide. People don't always lie because they have forgotten the truth. Sometimes they lie because the truth remembers exactly who they are.